Level 1. The draftee. The letter arrives on a Monday. Not a letter, really. More like a summons. A single page from the United States government that says your name, your age, and one word that changes everything. Greetings. You're 19. You stock shelves at your father's hardware store in a small town in Ohio. You've never left the state, never fired a gun, never even been in a fist fight. The biggest decision you've made in your life was whether to save up for a Ford or a Chevrolet. Now the President of the United States has made a decision for you. You report to the induction center on a gray Tuesday morning with a small bag and a head full of newsreel images. Hitler's tanks rolling through Paris, London burning, Pearl Harbor, the Arizona sinking in a cloud of black smoke. You've seen these images in theaters before cowboy films. They felt far away then. They don't feel far away anymore. They shave your head in 3 seconds flat. They hand you a uniform that doesn't fit and boots that will destroy your feet before they break in. A doctor checks your teeth like you're a horse being purchased at auction. Someone stamps a number on a file folder, and that number is you now. You board a train with 200 other boys. Nobody talks much. What is there to say? By the time Georgia appears outside the window, something in your chest has already started to change. The boy who left Ohio is already becoming someone else. Level 2, the recruit. Basic training breaks you down before it builds you back up. That's the design, that's the point. 5 in the morning, every morning. The drill sergeant's voice before your eyes are even open. Move, move, move. Your body learns to obey before your brain catches up. Push-ups in Georgia mud. Running with a full pack until men vomit and keep running. Rifle drills until your arms shake and you do them anyway. The drill sergeant gets in your face so close you can smell his coffee. You think this is hard, boy. Wait till somebody's actually shooting at you. You hate him. Every man in your unit hates him. Then slowly, around week 5, you begin to understand him. He's not trying to break your spirit. He's trying to make sure a bullet doesn't break it first. You learn to shoot. You learn to move in formation. You learn to read a map, cross a wire obstacle, treat a wound, dig a foxhole in frozen ground in under 4 minutes. You learn that your comfort means nothing. Your fear means nothing. Your opinion means nothing. The mission means everything. By week 8, you're not the same person who left Ohio. You stand different. You walk different. You think different. You ship out on a gray October morning. Your mother cries at the station. You tell her you'll be fine. You don't know if that's true. Level 3, the private. The North Atlantic in winter is the loneliest place on Earth. The troop ship is packed so tight men sleep in shifts. Bunks stacked 5 high in air, thick with diesel and seasickness and fear. The ship zigzags constantly, evasive patterns against German submarines hunting in wolf packs beneath the surface. Every man on board knows what a torpedo does to a ship this size. Nobody talks about it. You play cards. You write letters that military censors will cut to pieces before mailing. You stare at the gray ceiling and think about things you've never thought about before. Whether there's a God. Whether you've lived enough life before being asked to risk it. Whether the people you love know how much you love them. England appears through morning fog like a dream. Green fields, stone walls, villages that look like paintings. People wave from the road as your convoy passes. Old women hold up cups of tea. Children run alongside the trucks, laughing. They've been at war for 4 years already. They're tired in a way you don't yet understand. You're billeted in a massive tent city in southern England. Tens of thousands of American soldiers, all waiting. Everyone knows the invasion of Europe is coming. The greatest amphibious assault in human history. They're going to hit the beaches of France and punch through Hitler's Atlantic Wall or die trying. The training intensifies. Beach assault drills, urban clearing, night navigation. The officers push harder every week. Something big is coming. You can feel it in your bones. Level 4, The Rifleman. June 6th, 1944. The English Channel is rough. Men are sick over the sides of the landing craft before the fighting even starts. You're packed in so tight you can feel the heartbeats of the men beside you. The sky is still dark when the naval guns open up behind you. The sound is beyond anything you can describe. The whole world shaking. The whole world on fire. When the ramp drops, time stops making sense. The men in front of you disappear in a wall of machine gun fire. The water around the boat turns red. You're supposed to run forward, but your legs have become something that doesn't belong to you. Someone shoves you hard from behind, and suddenly you're in the water, chest deep, pack dragging you down, moving toward a beach that looks 1,000 miles away. Men scream. Men go quiet. Both sounds are terrible. You lose your rifle in the surf. You find another one floating beside a dead sergeant you don't recognize. You keep moving because the only alternative is dying right here in 2 feet of water before the war has even really started for you. The seawall, concrete and cold. You press your back against it and breathe. Half the company is already gone. A lieutenant you've never seen before starts yelling. Organizing. Pointing up the bluff toward the German guns that are killing everything on this beach. Someone has to go up there. The lieutenant is going. Men follow him. You follow them. By nightfall, you're a mile inland. You're a combat veteran now. You don't feel like one. Level 5, The Corporeal. They promote you because the corporals are dead. That's the whole story. There's no ceremony, no congratulations. A captain points at you and says you're in charge of 11 men now and walks away. 11 men who look at you and wait for answers you don't have. France bleeds into Belgium. Belgium bleeds into the dark forests of Germany. Every hedgerow is a potential ambush. Every village window might have a sniper behind it. You develop instincts you can't explain. A sound, a smell, a silence that feels wrong. These instincts keep you alive more than anything you learned in Georgia. You lose men. Smithson takes a round outside a town you can't even pronounce. Martinez steps on a mine in an apple orchard and is gone in half a second. Peterson disappears on a night patrol and no one ever finds out what happened to him. You write letters to their families. The army gives you phrases to use. Quick, painless, hero. The words feel like lies. The truth is too ugly for a mother to receive in an envelope. So you write the lies with shaking hands and mail them and carry the truth inside you where it calcifies into something heavy and permanent. You stop learning their names as fast. You hate yourself for it. But grief takes energy, and energy keeps people alive. Level 6, The Sergeant, December 1944. The Ardennes Forest. Everyone says the Germans are finished. Everyone is wrong. The counteroffensive comes out of frozen fog before dawn. Panzers tearing through the American lines. Whole divisions surrounded, cut off. Your platoon digs in near Bastogne as the temperature drops to places your thermometer wasn't built to measure. Snow in your boots. Ice in your rifle mechanism. Men losing fingers to frostbite and fighting anyway. No supplies, no reinforcements, no way out. You keep the men moving because stillness means freezing. You keep them fighting because surrendering means the prison camps where Americans are dying by the hundreds. You share your last cigarettes and tell comfortable lies about how relief is definitely coming soon. When the Germans send a formal surrender demand to the division, the general sends back one word: nuts. You hold the line for weeks. Men fight with empty rifles as clubs. Men fall asleep in foxholes and don't wake up. You check on your men every 2 hours through the night to make sure they're still breathing. Some nights they're not. When Patton's tanks finally break through, you've lost more than half your original platoon. They pin a bronze star on your chest. You feel nothing except the cold. Level 7, the Lieutenant Battlefield Commission. They pin a gold bar on your collar in a bombed-out farmhouse. You command 40 men now. The first time you give an order that gets someone killed, you vomit behind a ruined wall where no one can see you. You give more orders the next day. More men follow them. Some don't come back. That's the mathematics of war, and you are learning to solve the equations in real time with a machine gun round snapping past your head. Your job is no longer to be brave. Your job is to make decisions that spend human lives for strategic value. If losing 8 men takes a bridge that saves 80 men next week, you take the bridge. You do the brutal arithmetic in seconds and give the order and live with it forever. The Rhine River crossing. Pontoon bridges swaying under artillery fire. You put your men on those bridges because the war is on the other side of the river. Germany is collapsing, but nobody told the individual German soldiers. Old men with rocket launchers. Boys who look 14 carrying rifles bigger than they are. Hitler throwing everyone into the fire. You hate killing children. You do it anyway. You don't sleep well anymore. You're not sure you ever will again. Level 8, the Captain, April 1945. You can feel the war ending like a change in weather. German units surrendering without firing. Prisoners with hollow eyes and no fight left. Villages hanging white sheets from windows before you even arrive. The Nazi Empire dissolving like a sugar cube in rain. You command 200 men now. A full company. The tactical problems have become administrative ones. Casualty reports, supply requisitions. Soldiers who've simply snapped after 10 months of combat and need to be managed before they become dangerous. Then the rumors start filtering back from units ahead. Places, camps, things the Germans did that don't seem possible. You don't believe it until you see it yourself. Buchenwald. You stand at the gate and look at what human beings did to other human beings, and something permanently changes in the architecture of how you understand the world. The skeletal figures in striped clothing, the stacked bodies, the ovens, the smell that you will carry in your memory until the day you die. You ordered your men to make the local German townspeople walk through and see it. They cry, they say they didn't know. You don't know what to believe anymore. Level 9, the Major, May 8th, 1945, VE Day. The war in Europe is over. You're 23 years old with a chest covered in ribbons and a mind full of images no human being should have to carry. People are dancing in the streets of Paris. Strangers kissing in Times Square, photographs. The whole world exhaling after 6 years of held breath. You feel nothing. Or not nothing exactly. Something too complicated to have a name yet. You'll spend decades trying to find the right word for it. The army asks you to stay. Occupation, duty. Help rebuild Germany. Process war criminals. Feed the displaced millions wandering the shattered continent. You say yes because the truth is you don't know how to go home. The skills you've spent 3 years developing, reading terrain, calculating fire angles, managing men under mortal pressure, none of them appear in any civilian job listing. Your wife writes letters that make you realize she's waiting for a person who no longer exists. You try to explain this in your letters back. You can't find the words. Level 10. The Colonel Korea comes in 1950 and you go without hesitation. Different mountains, different enemy, same weight. You command a regiment now, 3,000 men. The lessons from Europe save lives in the frozen hills of the Korean peninsula. Fire and maneuver, artillery coordination, never stop moving. The fundamentals don't change, only the terrain and the faces of the dead. Then Vietnam, and Vietnam is the war that never makes sense no matter how long you stare at the maps. You watch young draftees, boys just like you were, Die for hills that will be abandoned next week. For villages that flip back to the enemy by morning. For objectives measured not in ground held, but in body counts demanded by politicians 8,000 miles away in air conditioned offices. You write memos. You push back. You tell uncomfortable truths to men who don't want to hear them. They stop promoting you. You retire. You watch Saigon fall on television in 1975 from an armchair in Virginia. The helicopters lifting off the embassy roof. The crowds left behind. 3 wars of your life summarized in a single afternoon of television footage. You don't feel vindicated about your warnings. You just feel old. Final level. The WWII, you die at 89 in a VA hospital bed. Your family is around you. They love you completely and understand you partially. That's the best anyone can hope for after a life like yours. The flag on your coffin is the same design you carried across France 7 decades ago. The honor guard folds it 13 times with precise movements learned from the same manual used when Eisenhower was buried. They present it to your wife, your second wife, the one who learned over 40 years never to ask about the nightmares, to simply put her hand on your chest in the dark and wait until your breathing slowed. At the service, the chaplain calls you a hero. The obituary says greatest generation. Politicians use words like valor, sacrifice, duty. You would have shifted uncomfortably in your seat at all of it. Because here's the thing nobody standing at that podium truly understands. You never felt like a hero. Not once. Not on the beach at Normandy. Not in the frozen forest at Bastogne. Not at the gate of that camp in Germany that smelled like the end of civilization. You felt like an ordinary man doing what the moment demanded. You felt lucky to survive when better men didn't. You spent 50 years quietly wondering why you came home when so many others are still in the ground somewhere in France, in Korea, in the jungles of a country most Americans couldn't find on a map. There's no satisfying answer to that question. There never is. The math of who survives and who doesn't follow rules that have nothing to do with merit or goodness or deserving. You just carry the weight. You carry it every day for the rest of your life. The weight of everyone you lost, everyone you led, every order you gave, every letter you wrote, every name you tried to remember and eventually couldn't. You carry it until you can't anymore, and then you set it down. And somewhere tonight, in a small town in Ohio, or Georgia, or Kansas, or California, a 19-year-old boy is going about his ordinary life, completely unaware that history is already turning in his direction. His letter hasn't arrived yet, but it's coming.